If you thought this case couldn't get any darker, wait until you hear what surfaced about D4vd and Celeste Rivas. Because the internet is absolutely torn right now. Some believe the footage is undeniable proof of guilt, while others swear it's part of a bigger setup designed to take him down. And in between the allegations, rumors of pregnancy, whispers of bribery, and even chilling symbolism hidden in his music, this story feels less like a scandal and more like a nightmare unraveling in real time. But here's the question everyone's asking. Is D4vd guilty of something unthinkable? Or is he being framed in one of the most twisted takedowns we've ever seen online? Stick with me, because we're breaking it all down. And trust me, you don't want to miss a single detail. Before we dive deeper, make sure you hit that subscribe button because this story is far from over, and I'll be keeping you updated every step of the way. It all started with the footage. A clip surfaced online that seemed to show D4vd in a situation with Celeste Rivas that nobody expected. A connection people didn't even know existed until now. The video itself was grainy, almost like it wasn't meant to be seen by the public. But what people claimed it showed was enough to stop fans in their tracks. Some swore it was undeniable proof of something sinister, while others dismissed it as doctored, saying it could have easily been edited. But regardless of which side you were on, the reaction was instant. Hashtags spread across Twitter and TikTok. Reddit threads blew up. Everyone wanted to know the same thing. What was D4vd really hiding? To understand the weight of this footage, you have to understand who Celeste Rivas was. Celeste wasn't just another name thrown into gossip blogs. She was a young woman with her whole life ahead of her, but her story was cut short in ways that still raise more questions than answers. She disappeared under strange circumstances, and when news later broke about the tragic death of her baby, people couldn't look away. Friends say she was scared in the weeks leading up to her disappearance. Family members suggested she may have been keeping a dangerous secret. And now, with this footage linking her directly to D4d, those fears seem even more haunting. But it didn't stop there. Once fans started digging, they noticed something even more unsettling. Allegedly, D4vd and Celeste shared matching tattoos. The images weren't obvious at first, but screenshots spread quickly, showing what looked like the same designs. Fans said it wasn't just coincidence. And then came the theories about his concerts. People slowed down visuals from his shows, pointing to broken chains, fading roses, even baby references hidden in the background. To outsiders, these were just stage designs, but to fans already convinced of his guilt, it looked like a confession hiding in plain sight. Now, are these theories reaching? Maybe. But the internet doesn't need proof to spiral. And when whispers of pregnancy started circulating, the speculation became impossible to ignore. Some claim Celeste may have been pregnant before her disappearance. Others argue timelines overlap in ways that make the baby's tragic death even more suspicious. Official reports have never tied D4vd to the child, but silence can be deafening. Fans filled in the blanks themselves, and soon the rumor became accepted as fact in certain circles online. To some, this was proof he had everything to hide. To others, it was the clearest sign he was being set up. But here's where things take a darker turn. Because in almost every corner of this conversation, the word bribes keeps coming up. Fans insist money changed hands to bury this story, that witnesses were paid off, evidence was hidden, and coverage was shut down before it could go mainstream. And let's be honest, isn't it strange that a story dominating TikTok and Reddit barely gets touched by the biggest outlets? Either they know something we don't, or someone doesn't want this story getting bigger than it already has. Could the industry really be protecting him? Or is the silence proof that the rumors don't hold weight? Either way, the lack of answers has only fueled more suspicion. And then there's D4vd himself. His behavior has only made things worse. Fans noticed tour dates suddenly disappearing from websites without explanation. Posts deleted from his socials. And when he does post, it's vague captions and cryptic images that feel like anything but reassurance. Some take this as proof he's hiding. Others argue he's being cautious, trying not to make things worse by speaking out too soon. But silence in a storm is never comforting. And in this case, it's only added more fuel to the fire. By the way, if you want to keep up with every new detail as this story evolves, make sure you subscribe. Because trust me, what's coming next will shock you even more. The internet, of course, has built an entire web of theories, and the deeper you go, the more tangled it becomes. Some believe this is a massive cover-up, orchestrated by powerful people determined to protect D4vd at all costs. The idea is simple. He's too valuable, too influential, and too connected to be taken down easily. If that's true, it would explain why major outlets have stayed so quiet, why certain details never make it into headlines, and why every time the story begins to gain traction, it suddenly gets drowned out by other news. Fans who buy into this theory say it feels deliberate, like someone is pulling strings to make sure the full truth never reaches the public. But others reject that idea completely. They argue that D4vd isn't being protected. He's being used. According to this theory, he's not the mastermind, he's the scapegoat. Someone bigger, someone with more to lose, needed a distraction, and D4vd just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. To these people, the entire narrative around him is manufactured, exaggerated, and manipulated, so the spotlight stays off whoever is really responsible. And if that's the case, the real question becomes, who benefits from making him the villain? Who gains by painting him as guilty, while the real story hides in the shadows? And then there are the conspiracy-level claims, the ones that go far beyond industry politics. Fans have dissected his music videos frame by frame, searching for hidden meaning. They've paused tour visuals and blown them up on giant screens, convinced they're uncovering subliminal messages. One theory suggests his use of certain symbols, roses, chains, broken glass, are all metaphors tied back to Celeste Rivas and her tragic story. Another argues that his tattoos, the designs inked into his skin, aren't just random choices, but coded confessions. Some even say his lyrics contain timelines, clues pointing to what really happened, hidden in plain sight for those who know how to look. Now, whether you believe these or not, the obsession runs deep. Reddit threads go on for thousands of comments. TikTok edits connect dots across different eras of his career. Entire YouTube channels have popped up, dedicated only to analyzing every lyric, every image, every deleted post. And the craziest part? The theories often contradict one another. One group says the tattoos prove guilt. Another says the same tattoos prove he's the victim of a ritual, branded by forces beyond his control. When evidence is unclear, people see what they want to see. And that's why the speculation never ends. Because when people don't get answers, they make their own. And those answers spread like wildfire. Think about it. An official statement might get a few headlines, but a wild theory about cover-ups, pregnancies, bribes, or hidden symbols? That goes viral in minutes. And once the seed of doubt is planted, it doesn't matter what the truth is. Perception becomes reality. That's why this story refuses to fade. Every silence, every missing detail, every cryptic social media post feels like fuel for another theory. Most scandals blow over in weeks, but this one keeps regenerating. Every time the internet starts to move on, another piece of the puzzle surfaces. Maybe it's an old photo someone digs up. Maybe it's a fan claiming to have seen something months ago. Maybe it's just a lyric that suddenly feels too specific. Whatever the spark, the fire reignites instantly, and the conversation starts all over again. The cycle is endless. Rumor, outrage, denial, distraction, repeat. It's unpredictable, it's messy, and it's layered with questions nobody can answer. And that leads to one chilling thought. What if the truth is even darker than the rumors? What if the internet, in all its theorizing, has only scratched the surface? Some believe the silence from mainstream outlets isn't about protection or distraction. It's about fear. That if the real story were exposed, the fallout would shake more than just one artist's career. It would ripple through the industry, revealing a network of secrets that nobody wants uncovered. Of course, not everyone buys into these theories. Some people argue this is all smoke and mirrors, the internet turning fragments into monsters. But even skeptics admit the sheer volume of unanswered questions is unusual. If everything were as innocent as defenders claim, wouldn't it be easier to just lay the facts out and let the truth speak for itself? Instead, What we get is silence. And silence in the middle of chaos always feels suspicious. One of the most haunting theories is that the story has been deliberately left unfinished. That the gaps, the silences, the missing pieces aren't accidents. They're strategy. By leaving things open-ended, the speculation never stops. And D4vd remains stuck in limbo, trapped in a narrative he can't escape. In this version, it doesn't even matter whether he's guilty or innocent. What matters is that the story is profitable, clickable, and too powerful for the internet to let go. And then there's the psychological side. People are drawn to mysteries because they crave resolution. When something doesn't make sense, they keep picking at it, desperate to fill the void. This case provides exactly that. An endless loop of unanswered questions. It taps into our need to solve puzzles, to be the one who figures it out. That's why fans don't just consume information. They investigate, analyze, and create entire theories of their own. They feel like participants in the story, not just spectators. If you look at history, this isn't new. We've seen it with celebrity scandals before. Stories where the truth was buried, the rumors spiraled, and decades later, people are still debating what really happened. The difference now is the internet. Social media turns whispers into megaphones. A single fan theory can snowball into a trending topic overnight. And once it trends, it becomes part of the narrative, regardless of whether it's true. That's why this story is so dangerous for D4d. Even if he were to prove his innocence tomorrow, the theories wouldn't stop. They'd just shift. If he's not guilty, then he's a victim. If he's not a victim, then he's complicit. If he's not complicit, then he's being used by bigger forces. No matter what, the internet will find a way to keep the story alive. And that leaves us with two versions of reality. In one, D4vd is guilty, and the silence is proof of protection. In the other, he's innocent, but he's trapped in a machine designed to use his name, his face, and his career as fuel for endless speculation. Either way, he loses. Because once your name is tied to something this dark, it never really leaves you. So where does this leave us? On one side, you have disturbing footage, matching tattoos, whispers of pregnancy, alleged bribes, disappearing tour dates, and an industry that doesn't seem eager to address any of it. On the other side, you have the argument that this is all a twisted setup, a case of the internet turning fragments into something bigger than reality. The truth? Still buried. But one thing is certain. This case is only getting bigger, and the world is watching every move. And that's why I want to hear from you. Do you believe D4d is guilty? Or is he being framed in one of the most shocking setups we've ever seen online? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because this is a conversation the internet isn't letting go of anytime soon. And don't forget to subscribe, because the second new information breaks, you'll want to be the first to know. Trust me, the next twist in this story is going to leave everyone stunned.